And da-da-da-da-da-da.
Well, I tell ya, I don't know if I can handle it, Lynn. I can't handle the truth. It's all good. You do a great job. You're perfect. It's all perfect, like you just said, right? We're all doing what we're supposed to be doing right here and now. And that song, I'm a Believer, brought back memories to my wedding. What are we, June 20 years, like, oh, it's our 20 years this year. So wait a minute, is it? Yeah, 20 years, sorry, but 20 years, Mike and I, for this June we've been married. And our theme was movies. So that song, I walked down, my dad walked me down the aisle to I'm a Believer. And then our wedding song was from the Shrek album. It was You I Have Loved All Along. And it was just a real fun time. We didn't have speeches. We had this little movie. My friend kind of interviewed Mike and I, and then they put together this killer movie for us. And we had popcorn and party favors and food and booze, and that was that. It was a great time. So thank you for that memory. But now we're going to go in, which seems like a dream for sure. Rev Wayne, you were talking about that, seeing memories as more dreamlike. And then I lost audio because I was cleaning, tidying up, and I grabbed the bottle of apple cider vinegar. It's quite a big jug of it because I use it in my bird's water. Not all of the time, but just if I see something like my little budgie had something on her foot. It looked like she had maybe got it cut and pulled it. So I was putting it in and she's fine now. So anyway, I picked up this jug and I shook it. I don't know why, but the lid wasn't on all the way and it sprayed all over. And if you know apple cider vinegar, it stinks. Well, it smells great in the doses I use it in, but big gulps of it thrown at you, tossed on your head and all over your clothes and the floor. It didn't smell very good. And my ear things got wet. They stopped working and I had to leave. So I missed some of your program. That's a long story. Look at Lynn. See, Lynn, I'm yabbering away. I haven't even started at 11:36. What's that, Rev Wade?
Very upset with you. Very upset with you.
I know because I didn't even listen to all of it. And I'm like, well, my
Unbelievable.
earphones are sopping wet. I'm lucky I didn't get electrocuted, Rev Wayne.
Well, I won't worry about it. You heard enough of me.
Rev
That
Wayne.
is, I just wanted to say this is, I just throw in this little story, which is honestly, it just made me laugh so hard. When I lived in Ohio or Illinois, when we lived in Illinois, we went to this little diner all the time to eat. And we'd go at lunchtime to this diner. And I always ordered the same thing. My sandwich came. I picked up the mustard, one of those bottles of mustard, and like not realizing the lid was loose, I just shook that sucker, boom, 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 and mustard flew out all over onto the people in the booth in front of us and behind us, all over us. It was like just a little mustard bath in the restaurant. And oh my Lord, I was just obviously shocked and mortified. But but we all went back to work smelling like hoagie sandwiches or something because we were covered in mustard. Anyway, I had to tell that story. It just reminded me of it, made me laugh.
Perfect. I love it. That's exactly it. Isn't that great? It's just, oh, I think mustard would smell better than the apple cider vinegar did. Anyway, thank you for sharing. That was cute. So I'm going to read today because last week we had such a fantastic discussion. I had read the quote from workbook lesson 155, and I'll read it again for a third time here. The world is an illusion. Those who choose to come to it are seeking for a place where they can be. Sorry, one moment. Those who choose to come to it are seeking for a place where they can be illusions, and avoid their own reality. Oh, yeah, I can see that, avoiding the reality. Yet when they find their own reality is even here, then they step back and let it lead the way. That's what Glorian was talking about earlier in her program too, all of you in that beautiful sharing. What other choice is really theirs to make, right? What is there? There isn't a choice. We think we're making choices, but surprise! To let illusions walk ahead of truth is madness, but to let illusions sink behind the truth and let the truth stand forth as what it is merely sanity. Workbook lesson 155. And then we go into kind of the mid of the chapter here. Thinking that we know is a major obstacle to the awareness of love's presence. I remember my child had a little phase of, yeah, I know, that he went through for a little while. And I made a comment just the other day about it. I was like, yeah, I know. Remember when you did that? And he said, do you know where I got that from? And I said, where? I guess it's story time today. He said, when Dad got stopped by the police officer when we were on our way to the farm that year. Yeah. So on his, Mike had LASIK eye surgery. So his driver's license said that he had to wear glasses. And the officer asked, and Mike said LASIK eye surgery. And the officer said, you have to get your license updated, sir. And Mike says, yeah, I know. And it was like in this voice, which he didn't mean, but he was stressed out under pressure. The police, I don't know. I get like that too. So anyway, it was all fine. I forget, he got a couple tickets for something, but not that. And anyway, so Ash said that's where he got it from. So, and I'm like, oh yeah, because you did start saying it after that. So look at that. We do all the damage to those kids, don't we, by our examples? But thank goodness we're not sinners after all. That's a great, great relief. So I'm going to get reading here. All right. So first, we must be done with our dreaming of the world. Power plays, rules, laws, dogma, creeds, doctrine, canyons, and systems of belief all stand as blocks to an awareness of love's presence. Skeptics question traditionally commonly accepted ideas and social norms that serve a ritualistic and/or habituated pattern. Healthy skepticism is essential in the face of the incredulous. All mythologies are just that, mythologies. Our stories are not realities. And I know in some way too, there's this kind of sense of what are not realities. I make up a good story though, but is just it. What's the difference between reading a book and going about this life? I mean, a lot of people can really get lost in their books and lost in their minds. So yeah, I don't know what my point is. Mark Twain was the archetype of a modern skeptic. As he got older, he became progressively disenchanted with the damned human race. Civilization, he claimed, is a limitless multiplication of unnecessary necessities. Wow. Though Twain's profound skepticism kept him from higher mysticism, he could see the divine within the ordinary. A soap bubble, he wrote, is the most beautiful thing and the most exquisite in nature. Oh, wow. I can see vividly in the mind's eye, like just this glistening soap bubble. So that's a beautiful little treat. In his longing to be free of the illusions of society, he echoes the conclusions of thinkers like Eckhart, Descartes, and Thoreau. Friedrich Nietzsche carried this skepticism even further when he wrote, "The experience of consciousness free of concepts is freedom." Yeah, free of any concept. He would just be free to be, free to see. Like earlier mystics, Frederick, I'm going to say his first name, recognized the importance of emptying the mind of all concepts and beliefs. Sometimes it's important to completely clean out the house to let God come in. Isn't that interesting? I pulled an image today. I was just working on a video for next week for Throwback Thursday. Yay! And I actually put in this image of a washing machine washing. It's a little clip. And I was like, we're washing our minds. We're cleaning this. And I just put it in there. I doubt I'll use it, but I just now I see it's like it's important to completely clean out the house to let God come in. And it's exactly that washing machine that I saw today. It's beautiful. Frederick's honesty and open-mindedness were remarkable and always evolving. Every time he suffered through a psychological crisis, his philosophy went deeper. What was needed, he said, was a will to truth, love, and that which was eternal. The will. I know my will sure wasn't there when I first started with Course in Miracles, 2019, and I knew it wasn't there. I could tell because of just the way my mind was answering back to everything. But I sat for a little while until I realized it was not being productive, and I took a break because I was careful to make sure I wasn't like running away or anything. And yeah, these little psychological crises, I mean, it is an opportunity to go deeper each time. So what a joy to be able to say, oh my God, look, oh yeah, look, I'm having a psychological crisis, and be like joyful about it because I can go deeper. I can go deeper into what's eternal and experience things I have not experienced in a direct experience, loving way, not this worldly, superficial way. I don't want to waste my life anymore on that. I want to go deep. I want to join. I want to be here and be truly helpful. I am willing. I am so willing. True mystics question the nature of reality presented by parents and society. They are out to find a better way. And I was saying that, a better way. I love that. I love that until I just got this pang of better as opposed to worse. So I was kind of changing this, shifting it a little to they're out to find another way, because every way, anything that's happening is supposed to be happening. So I don't want to say that something else is going to be a better way. It's just another way out of this playpen of divine brainwashing. That's right. Thank you, Rev Wayne. That was perfect. Another way. And this, oh, that was so beautiful. Divine brainwashing. I love that. Okay, so you're out to find another way or a better way, sure. Whatever floats your boat, guys. All right. We're not here to argue. We argue. We do like Bill Thetford did, who helped with the editing and with putting the whole text and the whole shamong together with Helen. In case you don't know, I doubt that, but yeah, so people were arguing about something in the course, and they were like, what do you think? And I almost said, Ken, what do you think, Bill? And Bill took the book and ripped the page out and crumpled it up and said, that's what I think. Like, we don't need to argue about stuff. I think I don't think I've ever seen an argument here, or I mean, I've asked questions, or I've never felt stupid for asking anything, or you know what I mean? But jelly beans, it's a very loving group. So thank you guys for being so accepting and patient. And so we're talking about Frederick here. He did not think of himself as a mystic, but Frederick brought philosophy closer to the truth, and thus closer to mysticism. Do not allow yourselves to be deceived, he said. Great minds are skeptical. Our task can't stand I know his name. I can't say it right now. It's Don Juan Castaneda. Is that right? Anyway, I have a couple of his books on my shelf, but I've never read them.
Oh my goodness, Carlos Castaneda. And the books are about
Castaneda, thank you.
Castaneda, yeah. Oh my
Castaneda.
goodness, those are books that led me into some amazing insights.
Oh, I bet I know they're gonna be spoken to be read soon, because I didn't get rid of them, right? I did a calling and I
Yeah,
still have them. So I'm maybe this is my prompt,
yeah.
get looking.
Get looking. Then you'll want to go out in the desert.
Oh
All right.
gosh, no.
I'll
Okay,
hush up.
thanks. Thank you. No, I don't like bugs, scorpions, and I don't like the heat. I'm very like I'm kind of I gotta stay in my house where the temperature is controlled. Okay, guys. I'll just pretend I'm in a desert. I've got a great imagination. I can make a desert in here and go within. Don't worry. I have a sanctuary. So Castaneda, tells us is to see rather than to perceive. And it makes me think of responding rather than reacting. I love that. I heard it in here the other day. Somebody's talk, something was happening, but responding rather than the reaction. And I love that because I can see evidence of having that experience, because I used to just have these reactions of this thing coming up and seemingly out of control. And now it's like I actually can see it, stop, look, assess, and laugh and go on the right track, and then respond accordingly. Wow. Like, how beautiful to be able to see that, have that experience and know that this is true. And yet there's still this something that is still wanting to say, no, I'm here, I'm real, because it's so real. Like it's like I need to see the little waves of light again around the objects, because it makes it, I'm sure everything's lifting. I can just feel that something's going on. So anyway, let's talk about Don Juan and how he instructed Castaneda in the art of stopping the world. Wow. The first step in learning to see without judgment. J.G. Krishnamurti expressed it thus: the highest form of human intelligence is being able to observe without evaluating. The highest form of human intelligence is being able to observe without evaluating. So that means not thinking that I am unintelligent because I can't pronounce the damn words. Okay, people? Vicky Pope, a serious long-term student of the course from Massachusetts. I'm a Canadian. I'm sorry. I don't even know if I've ever read that word. Massachusetts. Gives this description of a mystical experience. She had been a part of a spiritual community in Wisconsin during the 1990s, but had felt uncomfortable there. Oh, sorry. 1990s. I'm just like, was that master teacher or the other guy? Anyway, that's my brain being nosy. And of course, that is all little S self that wants a juicy little story. Anyway, describing a reunion visit in 2016, she writes, I was back in Wisconsin and had a delightful time. Everything was sparkling, the trees, the river, the stars, and most especially the people. It was clearly beautiful in every way possible. The fact is that 25 years ago, I had lived in this same place for 3 years and found it to be dreary, suffocating, and boring at best. I laughed and realized how judgment had literally clouded my view, and how this time I was witnessing what had been there all along. I don't know when the healing happened. It was all in the most ordinary ways of daily prayer and living with a simple thought of God. I thank the Holy Spirit for this surprise correction and healing through grace. The real world is just an unclouded thought away. How beautiful is that? Vicky Pope. Now, I even know who that is. I can see her in my mind. So that is
Poppy.
fun.
Her last name is Poppy.
Did I say Pope both times?
Yes.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
I knew a fellow, he was a friend of the family, his name was Pope, and I must have been thinking that because I do know it's Poppy. But thank you for that, Vicky Poppy, sorry. She was married to Teddy, right?
Yes.
Poppy, yeah. All right, that was beautiful. Does anybody, I feel to pause here, does anybody, we got 4 minutes left. Oh, only? That's because I yammered away before. Anybody have anything they want to chime in about? About Nietzsche or Wisconsin or Massachusetts or okay, I'll read this last chapter then. Not last chapter, but I'll read one more chapter from text. Chapter 14, the quotes will be from. Mystics do not project onto the world. They give the world the freedom to be what it is. Yeah, I love that so much. Because that's the difference, I think, between that and this. I'm not even going to go into that. That's judgment anyway. Mysticism is seeing without projection, contamination, or corruption. It is seeing without ego involvement. It is the seeing of the pure of heart. Our perception of the world changes when we stop our inner dialogue, when there is no longer any questioner. Then we see with wonder and with awe. As long as we cling to our inner dialogues and the ego's version of reality, we remain blind. Don't seek the truth, says Zen Buddhism. Simply cease to cherish opinions. Yes. Those who remember always that they know nothing and who have become willing to learn everything will learn it. The Course promises. But whenever they trust themselves, they will not learn. They have destroyed their motivation for learning by thinking they already know. And that, again, is from text chapter 14. And that's just, oh, I still have 2 minutes. Okay, great. I'll read the next section. It says, who cares? Every month, a young disciple faithfully sent his master an account of his progress toward enlightenment. In the first month, he wrote, I feel an expansion of consciousness and experience my oneness with the universe. The master glanced at the note and threw it away. The following month, the disciple reported, I have finally discovered that the divine is present in all things. The master seemed disappointed. The third month, the disciple exclaimed, the mystery of the One has been revealed to my wondering gaze. The master shook his head and threw the letter away. The next letter said, no one is born, no one lives, and no one dies, for the ego is not. The master threw his hands up in utter despair. A month passed by, then 2, then 5, and finally a whole year without another letter. The master reminded his disciple of his duty to report on his spiritual progress. The disciple wrote back, who cares? And the master smiled. And we're at the top of the hour because it's noon here, but it's 2 o'clock in the Eastern time and Standard Time and clouds on the north horizon. Who cares? There'll be a rainbow and then some stormy nights and then some more sunny days. Thank you, everybody. Love you. Have a wonderful rest of the day and see you tonight.
Thank you, Audsie. I love that story. That's just so beautiful. And I gotta love John Mundy.